Hello, everyone. Welcome to the capstone project on automatic ticket assignment with great learning. The key objective of our project is to leverage NLP to automatically assign ServiceNow tickets to appropriate groups so that the manual effort on ticket classification can be reduced. We have implemented the solution with the help of state of the art pre trained NLP models like BERT, Roberta, and ExcelNet. As a part of the solution, we have created a GUI to facilitate the ticket classification. This GUI is developed with Dash, which is running on an Anaconda environment. Let's have a quick look now. So the home page is all about our problem statement and the solution approach. Let me start with the people behind this project. Five people with the diversified backgrounds are part of the group 5B of June 20A batch. And let me start with a short intro about me and the team. I am Ashok Raja, and I have been into the IT industry for the last 20 plus years. And I'm glad to say that I am still hands on and I can code on most of the popular JavaScript frameworks like Angular, React, Node.js, etc. Varchas have 10 plus years of experience in publishing and market research. He is a proud owner of a bookshop and he has big plans to leverage NLP in the publishing industry. Puneet is from healthcare domain and he has 12 plus years of experience in medical billing, claims and computational statistics. He is a Six Sigma Black Belt certificate holder. Milu is working in the IT division of one of the popular pharma companies and she is part of the incident management team which handles the ServiceNow tickets. So she understands the challenges of classification of tickets better than all of us in the team. Neeraj has 13 plus years of experience with most of the popular RDBMS and NoSQL databases, and now he is into Exadata and Oracle Cloud. Kapil is our mentor. He helped us to look beyond what we have learned as part of this course. Divya is our program coordinator, and she helped us to ensure that we are on track and not missing any deadlines and deliverables. Regarding the technology, apart from Dash from Plotly, we used VS Code as our IDE and Git for managing our source code. Right. Let me move on to the prediction screen. So in this screen, we capture the title and the summary of the incident and the model that has to be used for predicting the group. Prediction in this application can be done with pre-trained models like BERT, Roberta, Electra, ExcelNet, etc. For model training and persisting the model, we used Google Colab and persisted models were transferred to the local environment for integrating with this application. Let's start with some test data. Okay, let me click the predict button. Now let's have a look into the output. First, we combine both title and summary and remove all line breaks and tabs and convert it into lower cases. Then we fix the encoding and identify the language of the text. Since the language is German, we are using Google Translate to convert it into English. Next, we remove the emails and the hyperlinks, and then we remove the orphaned numbers, symbols, and the special characters, and finally we remove the stop words as well. The cleaned and the processed text is passed to the model to do the prediction. In our case, the predicted group is group 0. Let's see what is there in the test data. So even in test data, the group is 0. Okay, now let's try with a different text. Okay, so instead of predicting it for one model, now let's try to predict it for all the models. It will take a bit of time. Let's wait and see. Okay, let's have a look into the result. Right. Say, except for Electra, all the other models have predicted 6. Let's have a look what it is there in our test data. Okay, so even here it is group 6. Now let's have a quick look into the code and see how we have made it happen. This application is built on Dash, which is a wrapper on top of Flask. App.py is the entry point for the application, but it is not directly called. Instead, it is hooked to index.py as a dependency. Right. So index.py contains the base structure of the application, and it splits the whole page into sidebar and the content area. And the entire application is split into multiple logical modules so that it can be extended to any scale. The IDE that I am using is VS Code, which is an open source code editor from Microsoft. This editor supports almost all popular languages, and it works in Windows, Mac, Linux, and even in ARM devices like Raspberry Pi. Although all the examples on Dash would be confined in a single page, I have split this application into multiple modules which can be used as a template for any large project that needs to be built on Dash. Let me explain the project structure. All pages are moved into the views folder, and all the static assets like say the images, JavaScript, and the CSS files are moved to the static folder. Okay. And say data folder contains the model files of BERT, DistilBERT, Electra, Robota, and the ExcelNet. And it also contains the labels and the custom stop words that we are managing within the application. All reusable components are located inside the components folder. In Dash, say events raised by the component, HTML component, or any custom components have to be associated as callbacks. All callbacks are moved to a separate folder so that it won't clutter the UI that is located in the views folder. Right. So rather than going through all pages, let me explain the functionality of the predict page and its callback page. In Dash, all components are created in Python code instead of HTML elements. The Python code is converted to React.js components by Dash while it is rendered in the browser. Let's see what is there in this page. These are alerts. The alerts are notification messages that you see on success or failure of an operation. And below comes the labels, text box, and the text area for capturing the incident details. Next comes the UI part for buttons and the drop down. So the callbacks are associated with the components with their IDs. So you ensure that you have a unique ID for the components that requires a callback. Finally, all these things are say placed into an forms array, and this component array will be loaded when someone clicks the predict link. Right. Now let's have a look into the callback function of the predict button. At app.callback decorator is required to consider a regular function as a callback function. The callback decorator accepts multiple input, output, and the state parameters. This in turn accepts ID of the component as the first argument and the property of the component as the second argument. In this case, this function, the output underscore text, would be get triggered whenever a click event happens in the btn underscore predict component. Okay, and it returns three outputs to alert underscore OK, alert underscore error, and div underscore content component. Okay, let's have a quick look into the output underscore text function. Okay, okay, the state parameter contains the current value of the component, and we are validating the value inside this particular function. And if it is empty, then we are returning an error, or otherwise we are calling the predict group function. Inside the predict group function, we call the other functions to do the text cleanup. I'll explain the steps that are happening here and we'll go to the subfunctions later. We start with the initial cleaning up of removing the line breaks and tabs, and then we clean the garbled text by fixing the encoding. Then we identify the language and translate it to English if it is not English. Then we are removing emails, hyperlinks, symbols, and stop words available in NLTK plus the custom list of words. Finally, we create a HTML table and pass these values in the relevant placeholders to display the output in tabular form. Next comes the prediction part. The render model function is called to interact with the persisted model, and this function accepts the index of the dropdown which contains the list of model and final cleaned up and the processed text as the second input. Okay, so these are all the sub functions that I was referring to. The function names are self-explanatory. Let's move to the render models function. Okay, so here we convert the index to an array of models and point to the appropriate model from the data folder. That acts as an input for the simple transformer that we are using to predict the text classification. The output is mapped against the label index and the results are rendered as HTML elements. Since this prediction is inside a for loop, the same function works for a single model or all models selected in the dropdown without any coding change. All right, to run the application, execute the command python index.py. This would start the application in the port 3000. To open it, control click. Okay, so that's it for now. Thank you for watching this video. Please feel free to reach our team for any clarifications. Thank you.